What are your thoughts on Shannon Sharpe getting fired by ESPN after settling his case with his ex?
Goody.
Model.
I suffer from the same thing that Dennis Rodman suffered from.
What's that?
I'm ugly, but I made it anyway.
So, let's break this down. Shannon Sharpe, just a year ago, was strutting like the mayor of sports media. Mr. Tight Suits so small they looked like they came from the kids section at Zara. Mr. Cognac, sipping that brown like it's the cure for common sense. Mr. Club Shay invite only. Back then, ESPN money was flowing, lawsuits were on mute, and his bald head had its own spotlight. Then comes Luenell, a comedy legend, a woman with receipts older than Shannon's first set of braces, saying, "Let me get a seat on your couch." And what did Shannon do? He hit her with the cold shoulder like she was a bill collector. Curved her like she was asking him for a loan, like she wasn't already a household name roasting folks before he even knew what a Super Bowl ring was. Bro, you've had rappers with one mixtape, YouTubers who peaked on Vine, influencers with more scandals than songs, but Luenell was too off-brand. That's like saying Michael Jordan couldn't make your pickup team because you were saving space for somebody taller. Make it make sense, but karma doesn't wait. Karma pulls up same-day delivery. Fast forward Shannon's whole empire crumbling like dialed cornbread. ESPN sends him packing. Lawsuits hit harder than Ray Lewis, and suddenly, Mr. Untouchable looks like Mr. Return to Sender. And who does he call? The same legend he brushed off? Suddenly,
Hey, black people, y'all remember when we used to say hemmed up? That motherfucker me hemmed up down to the liquor store. I was almost late for work, fuck. You know what? I think that I'm gonna bring back some of that old slang. Because, you know, the young boys I with, they say my mouth is reckless and I have a harsh delivery, that I say too much. And I be trying to tell these little motherfuckers, listen, babe, I love you. I do. And I would love to make love with you. I would love for you to make love to me. But in full transparency, I'm really just trying to get real quick before I get on this plane.
Mel's phone. Now he wants her on the couch. That's giving X-texting-at-2-A.M. It's giving, hey, big head. It's giving block number with a burner phone. Real quick, before we roast Uncle Shannon into ashes, hit that like button, subscribe to V, and turn on notifications because, trust me, this ain't the last pot of tea we're spilling, and you don't want to miss it when the kettle screams. And Luenell, she didn't waste a syllable. She went full scorched earth. You didn't want me when you were up. Don't crawl back when you're down. That wasn't a clapback. That was a Netflix special condensed into one sentence. She basically told him, you thought you were the bouncer. Nah, you the guy outside the club holding coats. Shannon went from gatekeeper to beggar at the gate in record time. And the way she said it, you could practically hear his ego packing its bags. Now the internet smelled blood. Social media split like Shannon's pants in one of those tight suits. Some folks were mad at Luenell, saying she was enjoying watching him fall. One wrote, "All I see is black on black, with other blacks egging it on." Another side, "It's sad to see someone celebrating a man's downfall, unless they had beef." Basically, they painted her like the villain in a Tyler Perry play, twirling her wig while Shannon sobbed in the corner. But the other half-o, they were in the front row with popcorn. They said, nah, she's been consistent. Y'all just weren't listening. One fan said, if you don't want the truth, don't ask Luenell. She's allergic to sugarcoating. Another hit him where it stings. No black woman should defend Shannon. He don't defend us. Whew, that wasn't shade. That was a guillotine. Shannon went from media mogul to case study in 3 seconds. And her line, "Don't reject me Monday, then crawl back Friday," that turned into gospel. Folks were stitching it. TikTokers were remixing it.
I don't work drunk, though. I get drunk sometimes in front of the audience. Like I tell them, this is Vegas, I'm going to do a magic trick. I'm going to get tipsy right before your very eyes.
But you time it so that by the time it's...
And by the time it's feeling it, the show's over. But I don't, in the earlier days, you know, but it was a lot of drinking, drugging, and all that kind of stuff. but none of the drugging ever worked for me on stage. It was just too much. So I do smoke some weed, and I will have a couple drinks. Actually, I have a CD, remember CDs, called I Only Drink at Work, which I do.
Right.
I have a full bar in both my houses, but I don't sit at home and drink wine or any of that.
No, because that's work.
I only drink at work.
That's good.
Drink at
It's
work.
your job.
It is.
And Twitter turned it into a meme. It was basically the national anthem for everybody who's ever been curved, then hit with a "you up" text. Shannon didn't just get roasted, he got turned into a TikTok sound effect. And then came the bigger conversation. People started seeing the pattern. They said Shannon only calls on black women when he's in trouble. When he's shining, it's cigars, rappers, athletes, viral names. When it's lawsuits and pink slips. Suddenly, he remembers the sisters. Fans were tired. They said, "We see the play. We not running it again." One viral comment read, "Shannon's show should have been canceled already. Luenell can't save him. He built this, now he got to live with it." And the memes flowed. One had him puffing a cigar with the caption, "This you," after curving Luenell. Another showed him stressed, like Unk didn't skip leg day, he skipped common sense. Even comedians piled on. "You curved a comedian, bro. That's like giving Kevin Hart a microphone and saying, 'Please don't roast me. You set yourself up.'" Shannon basically wrote his own roast material. He thought he was untouchable. But when you curve someone whose literal job is cooking people, you just volunteered to be the entree. And the timing couldn't be worse, because then came the code. Shannon had just been fired from ESPN. The lawsuit with that OnlyFans model was still fresh, the one he settled after she retracted her claims. His name was already hotter than his suit pants in July, and now he's crawling back to legends. He once ghosted. It looked desperate. It looked thirsty. It looked like a clearance sale at Dignity Depot. Meanwhile, his brother Sterling was being inducted into the Hall of Fame. That should have been Shannon's shining moment. History for the Sharpe brothers, but instead of Sharpe brothers make history, the headlines were Shannon fired and Shannon sued. Even he admitted he wished ESPN had waited. Translation: please don't let my mess step on Sterling's moment. But too late, his drama stole the spotlight, and then Luenell threw the fatal punch. "I'm not a groupie. I'm a legend." Boom, that's not shade, that's a billboard. That's the kind of line you embroider on a jacket. She drew the line crystal clear. She's untouchable, and he's fumbling. Fans dared him to bring her on Club Shay, saying, if he's still got a spine, let her cook him live.
What are your thoughts on Shannon Sharpe getting fired by ESPN after settling his case with his ex?
Goody.
OnlyFans model.
Goody. Was that a little worth all that money?
Right.
Oh. See, Shannon Sharpe suffers from the same thing that Dennis Rodman suffered from.
What's that?
I'm ugly, but I made it anyway.
Oh, you think Shannon's ugly?
Yes.
Shannon, he has a really nice
You have to admire his body because he wears his clothes so obviously tight.
Right.
It's a little sus, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And his little dog.
Wait, he's got a little dog?
He's
Yeah,
got a
remember,
little
like,
dog.
he was wearing a mysteriously tight outfit.
First of all, Shannon don't care nothing about me. I don't care nothing about Shannon. I say what I want. Shannon Sharpe, we tried to get on your show. When he was popular, he didn't want me. Back then, they didn't want me. Now he's losing, and he's all up on me. Want me to do the show. I'm not doing it, Shannon.
Talk your talk, Luenell.
I said what I said.
All right.
Others joked, if she sits on that couch, that three-piece suit is going to be soaked in sweat before the intro music even stops. At this point, it ain't even about the interview anymore. It's about pride, respect, and credibility, and Shannon lost all three quicker than ESPN. Lost patience, Luenell went from the guest who wasn't good enough to the legend holding his career by the throat. He thought he was the shot caller, but he's just the setup, and she's the closer. At the end of the day, Shannon thought he built an empire, but Luenell reminded him, empires crumble, and legends roast forever. He thought he was locking doors, but she kicked them down, grabbed the mic, and left him looking like background music on his own stage. That's not just karma. That's karma front row, drink in hand, laughing louder than the crowd. Now, I'll throw it to y'all. Should Shannon actually let Luenell sit across from him and roast him live on Club Shay? Or should he keep ducking before she tears the last seam off his suits? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe to Versebill, and share this video. Because here, we don't sip tea, we dump the whole boiling pot right on the table.